What's going on, YouTube? Happy January 28th. Calling you today, with my weekly spiel. And first I want to thank everybody who's new to either this channel or my other channel. I've just reached 100 subscribers on that channel, so I'm very proud of that accomplishment. Thank you all for that. And hopefully I can duplicate that over on this channel here tenfold, with their help and blessings. I hope we can make that happen in 2025, which is one of my goals. But today I want to come to you and talk about a subject that I think I should know pretty much about, is fatherhood. And when I think about fatherhood, think about raising my kids and everything. If you can tell from all my videos, I'm big on being a dad. That's one of my life accomplishments that's at the top, and I'm very proud of that. And I salute all fathers out there who's active in their kids' life, whether it's in the family role, co-parenting role, step-parenting role, whatever role you play. Big congratulations to you for doing that, because being a father nowadays, it's a role that not too many people, take. It's not being, what's the word I'm looking for? Celebrated enough, in society for being a father. They have expectations and demands, but celebrate those dudes that's out there doing what they have to do. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, we hardly ever get the chance, if we even do, celebrate ourselves. Because a real father out there is not something to be celebrated. It's a job we signed up for or took on that role. If you're a step parent, in my case, I happen to be both. I'm a step parent and I have, 2 kids of my own. So I know both sides of that situation. But the main thing is that we're there for those kids. Because when those kids, I believe, this is my belief, from nobody else, but when those kids have a solid foundational 2-parent home, they're getting both sides of nurturing and guidance from the mother, but discipline and nurturing from the father, tough love type stuff. And I believe you need all that to help raise a child, male or female, young boy, young girl, to help them out as much as possible, to help keep them grounded, so to speak. Because one thing about these kids, they need role models. They need people to look up to. When they're young, they're like moldable clay, and they're taking on the form of whatever's around them. And if you're that person in their life, they're going to pick up some traits from you, and you're not going to even know it. But they're looking. They look up to us. They aspire to be like us, and all we have to do is show up for them. And to me, that's where I get my thanks from. I'm not looking for no hand clap, no congratulations. I get my thanks from looking at my kids every day, seeing that they're happy, they're taken care of. I mean, if you have a happy, thriving family, what more could you want as a father? So, you set those benchmarks for yourselves to, see where you stand being a father. And don't get me wrong, it does have its challenges. I mean, it can be hard. You can be wanting to give up on yourself. I mean, there's been plenty of times I ain't want to say walk away from the situation, but I just need to take a break, because it don't come with no blueprint. You got to figure it out yourself. I mean, and if you grew up with the father in your life, yeah, you can take examples from them that you've seen them do, how they helped you through situations and help adapt it to your current situation now. But your life is your life. So you have to figure out what works for you, what solutions work best for you and your family structure and different things like that. Don't get me wrong, it's good to have a blueprint, but eventually you have to figure it out, what works for you, how it works for you, different things like that. And if you are in a two-family household, whether it's a natural two-family household where you and your significant other, the kids are yours, or if it's one where you step into the role to become that step parent. I mean, sometimes, you just have to set those standards of what you expect your role as a father to be. Everything from discipline to taking care of medical needs. If you go ahead and plan all that out now or ahead of time, then it'll make transitioning, if you're a new father, to having kids, a whole lot easier because you kind of laid the blueprint out for yourself. I mean, it's nothing to be afraid of. It's just like life itself. I mean, if anything, life itself is the most scariest thing because you don't know what's happening from one day to the next. But if you get the joy to be a father and experience something that you help create, help make, and that your influences, your characteristics, your morals, your values, your standards, you're going to help implement into that child, then I mean, that's like the best thing, because you're helping mold a miniature version, if not a better version of yourself, because you understand now what kind of person you are and what kind of person you want that child to be. And I mean, as far as discipline and stuff like that, I mean, it comes with the territory. Yeah, you ain't got to be a ass whooper, so to speak. I mean, you can find alternative methods for that, because I mean, it's going to come. I mean, at some point you're going to have to discipline your child. If not, and not to say discipline just to, hey, you're out of line, you're doing something bad. Nah, I call them course corrections. You teach them one time, hey, you know not to do that again. And, help guide them on that path of, being a productive, affluent citizen in today's society. Because, I mean, I know, if speaking for myself, I know when my kids go out in the public world, I want them to represent me as far as the values I taught them and everything. Like, they are a representation of me and my wife and, how we couldn't raise them. So, I mean, like I say, fatherhood is joyous. Like, I love being a father. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. And the only thing that could possibly be better, I say probably going up another level to being like a grandfather. But yeah, if you're a father out there, just embrace that title. Embrace the role, because you are a role model. You might not see it, but take for instance with me and my kids. I got kind of a slick mouth. I had these little sayings I do around them. But then when you notice that they get older and you've been saying it so long, and they start using your sayings back towards you, that's when you know that you're having an effect on their lives. You're being an influence to their lives. You're having an impact on their lives. Be that positive impact for them. They might not have too many positive impacts in their lives growing up the way things are today. They have schools to deal with. Kids getting shot at school. The testing is off the charts now. It's like when you're going to school more now to test out of school than to actually learn, the reading, writing, math. Like when I was going to school, it was curricular based. We're learning reading, we're learning math, we're learning subjects. But it seems now the kids have to deal with the stress of, just testing out. I don't know if it's to make the schools look good or to make you know, I don't know, but you know, they're having their own level of stress that they have to deal with. So being that father figure that they can come to talk to you about and get their opinion on, I mean, embrace that role too, because now you're showing them that they can confide in you and bring you their problems so they don't have to bear them themselves. And you know, being a parent, if you can take that load off a child, do that. Granted, sometimes the load they bear, they have to carry themselves to learn how to deal with that load. But if you see it's an overbearing load, overburden and wearing them down, if you need to offer an assistant hand, now if you know your child, you know your child. If you know your child can overcome whatever adversity comes their way, and you want them to see them through it themselves, then by all means, that's your own right. But at times, we all break down. Even as, I'm speaking as a grown man, like, we all have our breakdowns. And I know as a parent, I don't want to see my child reach the level of breaking down to where it's, you know, depressing to them or wearing them out. If I can be there to be that lending hand, then that's what I believe is my job to do. Especially if they ask for help, then I would do my damnedest to make sure I'm offering them assistance that they can be provided. So fathers out there, I mean, the role we have, it's not celebrated a lot, but it is celebrated and recognized through the actions of those you're caring about and those you love. Like, they'll show that love back to you, especially when they get older. Like, when they get older, and they start recognizing all the things you tried to instill in them and all the values, and then they start actually having those quote-unquote grown-up conversations to where you see that they're listening and they're taking your advice into consideration, then that's when you know that you wasn't just talking in vain all those years ago. It was just they wasn't at a point in their lives where they could understand the message you were trying to convey to them. But keep talking to them. Keep drilling to them over and over and over. Eventually, they'll get it. Eventually, something will stick, something will retain, something to where when they're a father themselves, you know, or, you know, a parent themselves, regardless, that they'll have some kind of knowledge that you've talked to them about or instilled in them that they can now pass on to their kids. I mean, think about it. Sometimes the stuff we hear isn't something people come up with. It's something they've been told, and they're just passing it on. That's like, what's the word I'm looking, you know, pass down knowledge. You know, they're passing down knowledge from one generation to the next that I guess if they're passing it down, it seemed to work. So fathers, stay in these kids' lives, stay active in these kids' lives, show up for them, show out for them, be the person that they know they can depend on. Because at the end of the day, it's all family. And yeah, fatherhood is a great thing. That's my feel for the day, YouTube. I hope I was able to, you know, new fathers out there, fathers who's down, I hope I was able to give you some encouragement, enlightenment just to keep going. Just keep going, brother.